Hi, I'm Keith Goslant.
I'm Linda Quinlan.
I'm Ann Charles. Welcome to All Things LGBTQ. It's Tuesday, August 19th, 2025. We are recording at Orca Media, which we recognize as unceded indigenous land. And before we start our formal reporting, I'd like to talk about Gaza and the horrible things that are happening there.
And the huge demonstration in Tel Aviv.
Yes.
Yes, about 1 million people protested Netanyahu's policies in Tel Aviv on Sunday. Also, it just keeps getting worse. I saw a little clip on Democracy Now! About featuring a child who had lost her legs because of bombing in Gaza, and she'd been taken to the United States through the work of this particular human rights agency. And, she was being rehabilitated, but now the funding for that agency has been cut off and it has been closed down. It's like one awful thing after another. And I have to underscore that the United States is complicit and has been for several administrations. It's unacceptable and inexcusable. Now let's go to Keith.
Yeah, now we're going to go to trivia. We're going to trivia. Look at the correct camera. And looking at, each month, each month has an awareness focus. And one of the things for August was focusing on the March on Washington for Jobs and Freedom, which is the full name, that occurred on August 28, 1963 in Washington, D.C. And there was over 250,000 people in attendance. And the Big Six are traditionally given credit, and Ann will have comment at the end, for collaborating and bringing it about. And they were James Farmer, Martin Luther King Jr., John Lewis, A. Philip Randolph, Roy Wilkins, and Whitney Young. However, the person who made it happen, who did the organizing, is not included in that list, and we'll talk about why.
Yep.
So looking at events, Rainbow Umbrella Women's Discussion Group, you're on hiatus until September, correct?
September 10th. I gave the wrong date last time.
And Book Discussion Group, is that still meeting?
Oh, yeah.
And the book is? That's scintillating.
I'll get back to you on that.
Okay. So I want to talk about an event that's happening on Saturday, August 23rd. And it's being sponsored by the Vermont International Film Festival. And it's Conversations with Angelo Madsen. And it is happening at the Screening Room, 60 Lake Street in Burlington. And Angelo, who is an associate professor of time-based media at UVM, is a multimedia artist whose films have been screened around the world, winning awards at many prestigious festivals. His work has been recognized with both Guggenheim and United States Artist Fellowships. And for this particular event, he's going to be talking with, someone we might know, John Kalaki.
Friends of the show.
About his career and share clips from his work, including North by Current, that has been broadcast on PBS Point of View series. And it was also screened at Babes in Bethel, which I think we promoted on one of our former shows. So, but this is going to be a busy month for John Kalaki, and maybe John's friend Donna McAdams. Donna McAdams, who is a photographer, has 5 photographs currently featured in the It Often Rhymes exhibit at the Current Gallery in Stowe. She was also given this year's Governor Award for Excellence in the Arts.
Good for her.
And there's a public reception happening in September. But on Thursday, September 25th, she's going to be having a public dialogue with the director of the Current, Rachel Moore, and joining them might be John Kalaki,
Once again.
sharing his documentary that he had done on McAdams in association with her retrospective exhibit at Pratt's Manhattan Gallery and her photographic memoir, Black Box, Donna and McAdams. And I think there might be an interview coming up at some point.
Mm-hmm.
But John, who is also noted as being a creator, artist, former legislator, whose work has also been displayed at the Current, he is going to have an installation included in the Burlington Arts exhibit, How to Say Goodbye, Grief, Loss, and Mourning. And that will be occurring September 26th until January 24th. So there will be time to go and see it. He also currently has a video showing through Art Hope, and he has a print on display.
I think he means Art Hop. He said Art Hope, but I think it's Art Hop.
Okay, I'm going to trust you on that one because when I looked at Art Hop, it's a nonprofit, it's an online service, and it's like I didn't see John's video in the back. Art Hop.
Yeah, it makes more sense.
Makes more sense. And he has a print that's currently on display at the Wood Gallery here in Montpelier.
T.W. Wood, yes, indeed.
So, and that's showing through September 20th.
Okay.
So we've got time to go see it. Queer Reads, Sunday, August 31st, 1:30 at the Pride Center. The book being discussed, The Space Between Worlds by Micaiah Johnson. Is that a book that?
And what about books we're reading?
We are reading The Palace of Eros by Caro J. Robertes.
And do we like it?
We haven't started it.
Oh, it's
That's why we couldn't read
it's
it.
to come. Okay. I was premature. So on Friday, September 5th, starting at 8 o'clock, and if you watch the interview show, you may already know about the Freak Show that is being organized by, the iconic Emoji Nightmare. And it is being promoted as the glitter-drenched, gender-bending, jaw-dropping queer circus like no other. And you're being encouraged to dress to attend. And in the interview with Emoji shared that traditionally organizing the Pride Ball, they haven't done themes. And people kept asking for one, so it's like, okay, we're going to give you a theme.
Let me take this moment to promote Keith's interview with Emoji. It was really fabulous. And it was aired last Saturday. It's on YouTube. Tune in if you can. Emoji is really a pioneer and rock star and activist, and I think you'll enjoy the
Nice
interview if you haven't
person.
But
seen it.
when that interview is over, stay for Ann's interview with Emmett, youth organizer at Outright. You will learn things. So, and also in keeping with, it's the Pride Ball, well, the Pride Festival is happening September 7th, starting at noon. Parade meets at St. Paul and Main Street, then goes down to Lake Street, ends at the waterfront, where all of the vendors will be selling you their wares until 5 o'clock. So,
All right.
and then the last event, Saturday, September 13th, from 10 until 1 o'clock on the State House lawn. This is Mosaic, the Sexual Violence Program in Barry's annual Rainbow Harvest Fest. This is a community event that is rooting in the understanding that healing happens through joy, movement, creativity, and connection. That's why this event brings together organization groups and everyday people who help Vermonters feel good in their bodies and connected to their communities, even if they'd never described their work in that way. So with that, are you going to tell me good things?
Some good, some bad.
Then we may
some
have to go right to Ann.
Oh, she always has good stories. 17 years after American Idol, put him on the map. David Archuleta is ready to live life at his own rhythm and is doing so. So reflect his authentic self through music in ways that he has never done before. So we'll need to take a look at that. Michelle White, Executive Director of the Greater Phoenix Equity Chamber of Commerce, gets caught up on emails and scheduling meetings. White, who identifies as queer, leads with adaptability. She juggles advocacy, small business assistance, crisis management, and emotional support. White took the helm of the Equality Chamber during a time of transformation, not just for the chamber, but for Arizona's LGBTQ plus business community. What started as a volunteer-run group with a handful of members is now a nonprofit with more than 350 active businesses and 3 paid staffers. So you go, Michelle. Oklahoma teachers, if you're coming from New York or California or Massachusetts or Vermont or other liberal states, you have to prove that you are supportive of American First initiatives, regardless of the subject or grade they teach. They'll have to show they know the biological difference between females and males, and that they agree with the state's American history standards, which includes elements of a conspiracy theory that the Democratic Party stole the 2020 presidential election from Donald Trump, which fact checkers have said is false.
That's awful.
Okay, so
Don't go to Oklahoma to teach.
I'm starting the petition that Vermont becomes the new Canadian province. Yeah.
Yes, please. Please take us. Uphill Bar, one of Portland's oldest operating gay bars, is closing its doors downtown after nearly half a century.
I saw that.
So that's sad. A bizarre and decidedly crude string of incidents have eclipsed the action on the court of the WNBA. And, you know, this is awful. This week, you know, because a lot of players are lesbian, this week and top figures in the league are calling out the disrespect they're feeling as a result of this action. What began as a seemingly isolated incident of a fan throwing a sex toy onto the court during a game on July 29th has spawned a series of copycat incidents, drawing outrage from players, coaches, and commentators alike. The reported story behind how it all began has opened a strange window into the Gen Z meme culture, the desire to go viral, the bro culture surrounding cryptocurrency, and the continued sexism and misogyny that still surrounds women's sports. The WNBA is no stranger to being the target of sexism and racism. While the league is synonymous with inclusivity, especially for black and queer women, it has found itself caught up in the larger American culture war in recent years as its popularity has skyrocketed. Some see this trend of throwing sex toys into the middle of the games as the latest manifestation of that. So, I saw one of them. They're green.
Yeah,
some
I
reason.
saw that same one maybe.
And you'll be happy to know that the White House is planning an extensive review into the Smithsonian Institute to ensure that its exhibitions reflect the administration's view of American history ahead of the country's 250th birthday. A move that comes amid President Donald Trump's broader takeover of the nation's cultural institutes. In a letter sent to the Smithsonian Institute, Secretary Lonnie Bunch and subsequently posted on the White House website on Tuesday. 3 administration officials outlined areas subject to review and revision in an effort to reflect the unity, progress, and enduring values that define the American story.
So this may be the only place where they're talking about the March on Washington.
Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah. As is from your, all right, so President Donald Trump has allegedly received 69% of the anti-LGBTQ plus policy goals. So they have, the 2025 has like a, I don't know, maybe,
Project 2025.
yeah, has like a list of things they want to accomplish.
Right.
Some of them have been accomplished.
Correct.
Some of them are in the process, and some of them have yet to be done. So its goals recommended by the blueprint for the second term created by the Christian nationalist think tank, the Heritage Foundation. The website, which describes itself as a comprehensive community-driven initiative to track the implementation of Project 2025's policies. It lists 18 LGBTQ plus related goals. Of them, the tracker categorizes 11 of the blueprint goals as completed. 3 are in progress, and the 4 as not started. Department of Health and Human Services rescind Medicare coverage for gender reassignment surgery. Department of Justice classifies educators and public librarians who discuss transgender ideology with minors as sex offenders. Department of Labor prohibit employees' retirement plan from investing based on ESG, environmental, social, and governance factors. Department of Labor issues an order protecting religious employees and employers, clarify that they must make employment decisions based on religion. Aren't we having fun?
Oh my gosh. I know. Got an upbeat story for us?
Well, not yet. I don't know if
Story
I do.
of resistance?
Not yet,
Is
no.
it time to move on to Anne?
No. Hers won't be any better. But anyway,
Rare. I have some good stories.
let me just finish with this. When U.S. Senator John Kennedy, the Louisiana Republican, read a graphic passage from All Boys Aren't Blue, a memoir manifesto allowed during a 2023 Senate Judiciary Committee hearing, using his southern drawl to recite lines about lube and sex in a tone somewhat between theater and scorn. He may have thought he was embarrassing George M. Johnson, but Johnson, the author of one of the most banned books in America, saw something else entirely. It affected me, sure, but it also put the book in places it would never have reached before. Someone out there saw that clip, ordered the book, and found a story they didn't know they needed. And here's a picture of George M. Johnson. All right, Ann.
Okay. Let me start out with a correction. Last show, Linda was talking about Kelly Ayotte, and she was talking about how Ayotte's signing anti-trans bills. And I jumped in wrongly and said, oh yeah, she's overridden a veto. So I let Kelly Ayotte off the hook wrongly. You've got to keep...
I've got 3 pages of New Hampshire.
Well, then let me just clarify. I was wrong. I was wrong. I was wrong. And it's 2 separate bills. She vetoed some anti-gay bills, but wholeheartedly signed some anti-trans bills. And Keith will clarify that. And I have chapter and verse right here. If he
Linda and I had discussed this at breakfast, saying I thought she vetoed stuff. What did she just sign? So I've got it for clarity for a follow-up specifically to that.
Oh, good, because I was wrong, and mea culpa. But let me get on.
It rarely happens.
Oh, get out. At least we have the chance to correct ourselves, because it's a regular show. I'd like to start now in Africa, because I'm really interested in this woman whom I hadn't heard about, who's a real mover and shaker, although unfortunately she's been jailed at the moment. She wore an Allah is a lesbian t-shirt.
Oh boy.
But she might be going to jail for it. But let's look at a picture of her, Ibtisam Lakgar, who goes by Betty. She's a feminist and wore the shirt to call out the sanctimonious religious conservatives in Morocco. She was arrested on August 10th after sharing a July 21 post on X featuring the t-shirt saying Allah is a lesbian. In the caption to her post, she wrote, "In Morocco, I walk around with t-shirts bearing messages against religions, Islam, etc. You tire us with your sanctimoniousness, your accusations. Yes, Islam, like any religious ideology, is fascist, phallocentric, and misogynistic."
Yes.
Lakgar later said she experienced cyberbullying, thousands of threats of rape and death, calls for lynching and stoning in response to the post. In Morocco, blasphemy is a criminal offense, and criticizing Islam can result in prison sentences of up to 2 years. The public prosecutor's office at the Rabat Court of First Instance announced that following her social media post depicting her wearing a shirt with phrases offensive to the divine, along with a caption insulting Islam, the public prosecutor ordered an investigation and placed her in police custody. She is known for her outspoken feminist activism. She co-founded the Alternative Movement for Individual Freedoms, which campaigns for personal freedoms including abortion, access, and same-sex marriage legalization. Over the years, her advocacy for women's rights, LGBTQ plus equality, and freedom of expression has, of course, frequently put her in conflict with the Moroccan authorities. She first drew national attention in 2009 when she and fellow activists attempted to stage a public Ramadan picnic to challenge laws penalizing those who break the fast in public. In 2012, she invited the Dutch group Women on Waves to dock in Morocco to promote safe abortion access, but of course authorities blocked the ship, citing military maneuvers, and escorted it out of the harbor. The following year, she staged a kiss-in, and kisses are figuring prominently in my coverage tonight, outside Parliament to support teenagers arrested over a photo of them kissing. She's been arrested and detained several times for her activism. In 2016, she was detained for 2 days after intervening to stop children from working late at night, and she alleged that she was sexually assaulted by officers while in custody in 2018. After she reported being attacked by people opposed to her activism, police accused her of being disruptive and held her in custody for 24 hours. I know this is a litany, but I just love this woman. In response to her detainment, the organization she founded released a statement saying it believed that she was placed in custody as an attempt to intimidate abortion rights organizers in the country. Her latest arrest has drawn international criticism. Lisa Marie Taylor, chief executive of the feminist UK Feminist Conference, FILIA, where she was scheduled to speak in October, condemned her arrest, saying silencing women for blasphemy is a violation of their human rights and an attack on women's freedom to think, to speak, and to live without fear.
Go Betty.
Yes. Now, very mixed news.
We too could be having that government.
Well, we won't prognosticate.
No.
Let's take a look now at K-pop artist Cherry, who comes out as transgender. Fans are celebrating She's publicly come out as transgender and said that she uses she, her pronouns, making her one of the first openly trans women in K-pop history. This isn't a hobby, it's my life. I'm trans, she said, during a heartfelt Instagram live stream. Because I wasn't an ordinary person, I couldn't reveal everything from the start. My goal was to take it slow. I'm just going with my goal. During the live stream, Cherry said that she had felt confused about her gender identity for a long time, but feels much happier after coming out. She first gained public attention in 2016 on the reality competition Boys to 4, where contestants vied for spots in the show's namesake boy band, although she didn't make the final lineup. While more K-pop idols have recently been speaking openly about their sexual orientation and gender identity in recent years, LGBTQ+ representation in K-pop and South Korean media remains limited, and artists who come out often face homophobic backlash from the industry. Same-sex relationships are legal in South Korea, but they are socially stigmatized and banned for military personnel. The country also does not recognize same-sex marriage and bars same-sex couples from adopting children. Transgender visibility is particularly rare in South Korea. Trans people in the country face significant barriers to legally changing their gender, accessing gender-affirming care, and finding stable employment and housing. In 2019, the Williams Institute report found that 12% of South Koreans reported knowing someone who is transgender.
You only have a few more minutes.
Despite challenges, Cherry's fans celebrated her coming out, flooding social media with messages of support and making the hashtag Proud of Cherry trend across South Korean platforms. All right.
All right, Keith.
So New Hampshire up first, and then we'll talk a little bit about Vermont. So sort of the backstory is a year ago, Sununu, when he was still governor, signed into law several bills restricting transgender youth. And the most notable was competing in girls' sports, and the other was limiting gender-affirming procedures. So the bills that IOT this year vetoed were actually bills about access to information or access to resources. It's like what books are considered sexually explicit and therefore minors shouldn't have, et cetera. And what she had said is, okay, we already have in place a protocol that if parents object to a specific subject matter, because sexual orientation, gender identity were included under that big sexually offensive category, they could file a complaint. It could be reviewed. They were entitled to a response. If it was part of a curriculum, then the school had to work with the parents to come up with an acceptable alternative. It wasn't a just say no, it's you need to come up with something else. And the other was looking at a further expansion of definition of sex within the sports context and classification. And again, what IOT had said is we already have statutes that cover this. What you are proposing is just too broad and too vague. I'm vetoing it because I think we're already okay. However, what she did sign, and there were two bills, and the bills would ban puberty blockers, hormone treatments, chest surgeries for transgender minors. Any new patients under 18 seeking estrogen or testosterone-based therapy after January 1st, 2026 will no longer be eligible. And there are two entities in New Hampshire that are currently providing treatment. One is Planned Parenthood. The other is Dartmouth Medical Center, which would be of concern to us. The other thing that makes this really insidious, those two organizations, Planned Parenthood, Dartmouth Health, even though they had already been restricted at what they could do, they had been making referrals to out-of-state agencies, out-of-state resources. The law that goes into effect January 1st prohibits them from doing that. You may meet all of the criteria under best practices set out by the American Medical Association and pediatrics, et cetera, saying you should qualify for this, but I can't refer you to anyone that can provide you with that care. Planned Parenthood in particular said, this is going to have a devastating impact on the people who come to them for care. Dartmouth issued a longer statement saying that they will continue to provide world-class comprehensive care for our patients while remaining compliant with state and federal laws. And what they pointed out is gender-affirming care encompasses more than just hormonal therapies and surgery. So patients are still able to seek the expertise of our pediatric and adolescent transgender program. So they're looking at how they can negotiate this, how they can balance it. And there are already lawsuits being put into place to try and challenge these statutes. But as you've both been saying, there is this federal push to specifically target our transgender population, and particularly our transgender youth. Because what we have found when the alt-right comes after us, our youth are the most vulnerable aspect, because it's this emotional appeal is like, oh my God, you're letting a 9-year-old make this decision. Well, that's not part of best practices. We should be looking at creating good best practices. What are the safeguards in place so that we can help you make the best decision for your life? They're trying to derail all of that, doing this emotional appeal. But coupled with this, and you've alluded to it, Linda, the U.S. Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services are about to introduce a proposal to ban coverage from hospitals that offer any kind of gender-affirming medical care to trans youth from getting Medicare or Medicaid reimbursements.
That's on their list.
And they are indeed about to do it. The draft proposal is out there. The one thing, though, with these kinds of regs, when they change them, they have to put them out for public comment. And there's a comment period so that even if they are allowed to introduce this or implement it, it is years down the road, because there is that review process, there's the appeal process. And I think this is one of those times that we take full advantage of. These are the way I can delay and stall and use them to our youth's advantage. Our current administration, that's been their tactics for years, we could use it as well.
Yeah.
So looking here in Vermont, and just really quickly, and this is despite all of the news hype, this is something that actually hasn't happened yet. But our Secretary of State has said that under no circumstances am I handing over voter information to the feds.
I heard that. Good for her.
But the feds haven't asked for it yet. The feds have targeted 9 states. They have gently sent out an inquiry saying, if we were to ask you, what might we get back? There has been a phone call and a conversation that happened back and forth that was totally non-productive. Oh me, oh my. But our Secretary of State issued the statement saying, I'm not releasing anything. we have very clear statutes that says I'm not allowed to, and you're not entitled to it. Elections are under the state, not under the federal overview. So, and when asked, so might you have done that because the current administration handed over the records of 140,000 recipients of SNAP or,
Food stamps.
assistance? Her immediate response was yes.
Oh, right.
That's
because when-
exactly.
I'm so glad, and that's exactly what I was thinking. She's jumping the gun because, so he doesn't do it.
She was, and I'm cutting you off because I want time to read her statement because I'm like, thank you, thank you, thank you. I learned in second grade how to identify a bully on the playground. And by fifth grade, it had become very clear to me that when there's a bully on the playground, you're not going to win by trying to duck. You might save your own skin, but you're going to watch your friends get their lunch money taken or their nose bloody. And so I will not be willing to duck in the hopes that this kind of madness doesn't come to us. Because if somebody doesn't stand up and say, no, this is wrong, then it's only a matter of time before they have whacked everyone else and then they come and whack you.
Yeah.
Yes, because when he did that, the only thing her only statement was, I can't sue now, right?
No, that's Charity Clark, the Attorney General.
Oh, okay.
And the Attorney General had clearly said, I am more than willing to sign on to the suit to challenge this.
And Mike Pichek also was very outspoken in opposition.
Exactly.
Okay, well,
Good news.
shut my mouth, but it's good.
Well, and then, and I'm going to pass it off to you because I can see we're running out of time. But the other sort of positive thing that happened is, yeah, indeed, the current administration was asked to please send National Guard to D.C., and the answer was, that's not how the National Guard is to be utilized. No. So this is the second time that there has been a request to use our National Guard, and both times it's like, that's not what our National Guard is for.
Yeah.
That's not what they're trained to do. I have control over our National Guard, and they're staying home.
Good.
So I'll hand it back to you. And on the next show, I'll talk about the other agenda item they want, which is to try and get, marriage equality
Done.
revoked, and why the current cases aren't going to do that.
Okay, I hope not. Delray Beach officials have refused, this is Florida, have refused to take off their gate crosswalks and sidewalks and everything that goes there.
Because they're pretty.
I know. And because they were there to honor the Pulse victims, and they are not going away. So that's good. Garika Mudra, an 18-year-old high school student who was biracial and lesbian, was out to dinner with a friend at a restaurant chain's Owatonna branch in April. And she felt some really weird vibes about the place. When she went to the bathroom, the hostess made her unzip her sweatshirt to prove that she had breasts and that she was a woman because she thought she was a guy going to the women's restroom.
Is she suing? Mm-hmm. Good.
Orthodox Jewish school makes history by ordaining the first out gay rabbi. Now let me try to get this pronunciation right. Yeshivat Korvedu Torah, an all-male Orthodox Jew rabbinical school in Riverdale, New York.
Jewish rabbinical school?
I think that's what rabbinical school is.
But I think you said Jew rabbinical.
Jewish.
Yeah, Jewish.
Yeah. Its first out gay rabbi, Chad Hung Clary. Clary was had his ordination ceremony 6 years after the school refused to ordain another gay student. So, progress in the Orthodox.
That's big progress in the Orthodox community.
And then I have a picture of Terence Stamp.
Oh, yeah.
The acclaimed British actor, perhaps best known to LBG, I guess this was actually yours, audience for his role as a transgender woman in...
The Adventures of Priscilla, Queen of the Desert.
Yes. Died Sunday at the age of 87. Stamp, who grew up in London's East End, made his screen debut playing the title role in the 1962 film adaptation of Moby Dick. That performance earned him an Academy Award nomination for Best Supporting Actor. So, there you go. A transgender National Park ranger was fired for flying a 55 by 35 foot transgender pride flag at El Capitan in Yosemite. Shannon Joslin, a biologist and former park ranger, posted on Instagram that she had been fired for practicing her First Amendment rights. So. And quickly, Ian, and I'll move on to you. This is my last story here. Eric Lendrum, a speechwriter for U.S. Department of Homeland Security, has expressed racist, anti-Semitic, and anti-LGBTQ plus views on social media and podcast appearances as recently as this year. The DHS, led by Secretary of Homeland Security Kristi Noem, has defended Landrum by pointing out his free speech rights. Landrum is currently listed as a DHS speechwriter. He previously worked as a press assistant for Department of Interior during the first Trump administration. So there you go.
All right.
You go for it, girl.
I'll try to get my public officials straight in the future. Let me, since I often have a clip, let me start with a very important, interesting clip that I'd like to share with the audience. On Saturday, September 6th, No One Cares About Crazy People will have a special screening at the Town Hall Theater in Middlebury at 2 o'clock. And Linda and I are going. It's part of Middlebury's Town Hall Present series. And the director, who is my college suite mate, is going to be there. And she's going to be there with the writer Ron Powers, who wrote the book on which the film is based.
And what's her name?
Gail Friedman. Other people who are going to be there are Kendra Dukes Burgos, Diane Pataki, and other cast crew members for a talkback. And I can't say enough good things about this important film. And so I'd like you all to look at a trailer and come to the Middlebury event if you can, and if not, promote it and look out for it
Locally.
locally. It's very intense and very important. So let's look at a clip now of No One Cares About Crazy People.
It's undenied. I'm sorry. It's undenied. You fucking idiot!
Crazy. What do you think of when you hear that word? Cool? Trippy? That's crazy, man. Or for most of us, the word conjures up mad, bonkers, wacko, loony.
You might as well just go ahead and shoot.
We didn't look away from Mark, and maybe that's why we felt it was important to tell his story, because we did not look away from him.
What do you want me to do?
There's nothing you can do.
My depression is pretty heavy. Every day I wake up, I feel sick.
I knew something was wrong, but I didn't know what it was until they diagnosed me when I was in my early 20s.
911 emergency. He broke a sliding glass window. Any of the mental health issues. And this is your son? Yeah.
When my son was in a mental health emergency, instead of getting help and compassionate care...
Stop!
We want our loved ones to be healed. We want them to live with their rights on, not die with their rights on.
minute, I thought he was just sort of standing there with his head bowed. A week before his 21st birthday, he'd hanged himself.
Hey, no one cares about crazy people.
They won't listen to us. We're taxpayers.
I'm waiting to sit at a table and work out a solution.
Right to treatment.
We led the nation in making a lot of mistakes on this for a half century. Now I want to lead the nation on the next half century of fixing this.
My name's Susan.
My name's James Mark.
James Mark.
Yes.
For everybody, they think, how'd that happen? And then you see that people have been through every mechanism possible trying to get him help. And at every turn, the system has shut them out.
When I look at Mark, I will always see an 11-year-old kid telling me that he needs me.
I should warn you when I'm not well.
We lost the mortgage today.
Why is it my fault? Because I'm bipolar?
No one said anything about your
I'm just saying, though, I hear you guys say all this shit. How many more bad decisions can I make to the point where she's not gonna be like, you know what, I can't do this anymore, Carm.
I'm glad that I got to walk a mile in my brother's shoes. He told me that the devil and God were arguing in his mind, and I believe him now. I didn't believe him then.
Both of our sons were stricken with schizophrenia. Mental illness is a presence in our daily world, but most of us don't care to look.
It's time to finally make our laws match the reality that we see.
A change is coming. It has to.
You're gonna need to be patient with me.
All right.
And I remember seeing Ron Powers interviewed when he wrote the book. You know, he's a local author. He's had a terribly tragic life. 2 of his sons were schizophrenic. 1 committed suicide, maybe both of them did, and his wife unaccountably was murdered while she was hiking in Castleton a couple of years ago.
Oh, I remember that.
Yeah, very sad. And the son whom they focus on was a very talented musician. Now we have hit a low point in my coverage because this is, now I'm back in Asia, where 2 men will be hit with a cane 80 times each for hugging and kissing. This is in Indonesia's Aceh province. They'll hit a 20-year-old man and a 21-year-old man 80 times with a cane for kissing and hugging each other in a public toilet.
They say a lot of people don't survive that kind of a...
Yes. Witnesses said in the city park informed police after seeing the men enter the same restroom in April, leading to the men's immediate arrest and imprisonment. The judge decided the brutal sentence in a recent closed-door session of the Islamic Sharia District Court. He decided the 2 college students had legally and convincingly violated Islamic law by their actions. They sought to punish them with 85 strokes, but he reduced it because they were well-behaved in court.
By 5 strokes.
I know. Caning victims are stripped naked, tied to a wooden frame, and bent over at a 90-degree angle, which occurs every 30 seconds in the caning officer's maximum strength. The blows often break the skin and damage muscle, causing bleeding and permanent scarring, and these young men might die. And I could give you the horrible history of caning in the Aceh province, but let me move on to a more positive Asian story. The Gaya International Airport will keep gay in the gay code despite conservatives' push to change it. Let me show you a picture of this Gaya airport in India. It's a 3-letter code, and conservatives said it will make the passengers uncomfortable if they keep gay in the code. And in fact, a member of the India's Parliament's upper house submitted a written inquiry asking if this could be changed, and they said no. It doesn't have to do with culture, it has to do with location. This is a frivolous request. So that's kind of encouraging.
Common sense, my goodness.
I know. Colombia has mixed reviews. Rebel groups in Colombia are killing trans women in a social cleansing campaign. And it's a horrible practice, and there are a lot of trans women have been killed. I could give you the exact numbers, but I'm trying to rush through. They're operating despite the peace agreement with the country's largest rebel group, the FARC, in 2016. They have killed more than 40 transgender women in Colombia. With last year, 8 more died in February and April of this year. So anyway, it's very frightening, but in a contrast in Colombia, I have a picture before you of a kiss-in, because a gay couple was chased out of the park for kissing, and this frenzied woman ran after them with a broom handle. So on Sunday in Bogota, Colombia, hundreds of supporters rallied for a gay couple threatened in public for kissing in public. The Colombian Besathon, or Kissathon, was organized on social media in response to a shocking viral video showing the couple being run out of the park. "If you don't leave, we'll lynch you," one woman screams in the video. "In this neighborhood, we don't allow sex in the park," yells another, "especially not in front of children." Over the shouting, the young man asked, "Why sex? What sex?" and repeated that they'd only been kissing. So the mayor of Bogota condemned the incident. It took place in the same park. The couple was mobbed. The turnout was huge. Supporters kissed, danced, and played music while rainbow flags filled the park. Signs read, "Kisses are signs of affection, not a crime, and we want to be able to kiss without being monitored." One video shows how the frenzied woman wielding a broom handle became a witchy rallying cry as protesters chant, "Bring out your broomsticks, we're not afraid." So that sounds like fun.
Yeah. And it sounds like Bogota, because they had that lesbian mayor for a while.
Well, that's what it says. It's one of the most liberal countries in Latin America when it comes to LGBTQ rights. Same-sex marriage was legalized in 2016.
It's a transgender thing? I don't know. Anyway, go ahead.
And same-sex parents have equal rights to adoption. Anti-LGBTQ discrimination is prohibited by law. But the conflict is then there are these roving gangs killing trans people. I have lots of European stories. Maybe I should just do the headlines or skip Europe altogether?
Go read the headlines. We have a little time.
Same-sex couple gets state recognition in historic Lithuanian court ruling.
I like that.
Saw that.
Yes. Yeah. And there's a little background. A lesbian princess just helped rule Lithuania's gay propaganda law is unconstitutional. Let me show you a picture of the writer of this book, Daringa Manvende Makate, who published Amber Heart. And there she is posing with the book cover because she sued under that crazy propaganda law and won. The Czech Republic's High Court rules against forced surgeries for trans people. That's great. There's a lot of hoo-ha with J.K. Rowling's that I hesitate to cover.
What is she doing now?
Well,
we don't care.
Her pro-trans nemesis, Nicola Sturgeon, just came out as queer. She published a memoir and said, "I don't care. I'm open to being with a woman or a man. I've always thought everything is non-binary." And she and Rowling had a big fight about trans rights. And now Rowling is going to review the book, and they're still having a lot of back and forth. Authors flee LGBTQ plus book awards in the UK for nominating J.K. Rowling's transphobic friend, who said a lot of ugly things, self-proclaimed trans, self-proclaimed TERF. And so the same thing happened. Okay, J.K. Rowling urges boycott of Marks and Spencer for having a trans employee. This is so tacky. The trans employee went to help a 14-year-old and her mother. The mother complained. Everybody apologized. And Marks and Spencer is saying, look, this is my trans employee. They were just doing their job. And last of all, I'd like to show you a picture of, I showed you the picture of Nicola Sturgeon, I hope, but now let's take a look at these. The UK is set to get the first dedicated hospice for LGBTQ people, and this is very impressive news. Let me show you a picture of the CEO, Rachel Brett, on the left, and Deputy Chief Medical Officer Amy Dissendyke on the right. So I'd like to end with a positive story, and there it is.
So the March on Washington for Jobs and Freedom, August 28, 1963, the person who might have been the true organizer was Bayard Rustin. In 1953, Bayard was arrested in California after he was discovered having sex with a man. He was jailed for 50 days and had to register as a sex offender. So he stepped back in all of this, the early civil rights movement. However, many who were there for the March on Washington agreed it never would have happened without Rustin's strategic and tactical acumen. He was given the nickname Mr. March by labor leader A. Philip Randolph for his work in organizing the march. And A. Philip Randolph is one of the 6 who is given credit for collaborating and creating the march.
And there was a documentary about this not that long ago, which would give you the whole story of how he began this organizing in some small room in, I don't know what city it was.
Wasn't it on Amazon or Netflix or maybe
Netflix,
both of them?
I think.
Yeah.
Because I saw it.
Or American Masters or something.
Yeah.
Oh, I think you're right.
Yeah.
PBS.
All
So
right.
with that,
remember, every day, to avoid, hang in there and remember to resist.